Hey guys, so basically I just wanted to go over illusions with y'all because after looking at your Dover Beach hyperdocs, I noticed that a lot of people were confused about illusions. Illusions. It's illusions with an A. That's the first thing I want to talk about. A ton of you gave me the definition for illusion with an I. Illusion is what like a magician does or like an optical illusion. Illusion with an A is a little bit different. So I'm going to go through the PowerPoint with you. I also added some additional examples. Without further ado, let's do this. So allusions with an A are an indirect or passing reference to a person, place, thing, idea. The simple way of putting this is it's a reference to something else. It can be literature, it can be history, it can be religion, it can be art, it can be a TV show, it can be a movie, it can be a poem. It's just a reference to some other piece of work in our culture outside of the thing that you are currently reading. So why did they do that? Or I'm sorry, shows that also do that. TV shows tend to use illusions a lot to create jokes. So shows like Bob's Burgers, South Park, Family Guy, Community, Rick and Morty, they all use illusions all of the time to make jokes. We'll actually talk about the episode of Bob's Burgers with Jaws later. So why do authors use illusions? One, for exaggeration. So it's just to really hype up the description of something. It can also be used to indirectly characterize a character by comparing them to a character in something else. So if I said that quarantine turned me into a Jack Merridew, remember Jack from Lord of the Flies? That would mean I've gone full-blown savage, right? I'm like losing my mind. So that's a way to characterize a character by describing them like another character from something else. You can also use it to foreshadow future events in a story. They use it to develop theme. And lastly, like I said, with TV shows, they do it to make a joke. Here's an example of, excuse me, an illusion from Arrested Development. I know that show's old and like none of you have seen it, but it's good. George Michael gets dumped by his first girlfriend. As he's walking home, he's head down, arms at his side. He passes a red doghouse with a beagle sleeping on it. This is an allusion to Charlie Brown, the cartoon. So through this comparison, we're getting indirect characterization of George Michael. Charlie Brown always walks like this when he is just completely down on himself. Charlie Brown already has the lowest self-esteem of basically any cartoon besides Eeyore. But when he does this walk home past Snoopy's doghouse, it's always because he just completely thinks he's trash. He hates himself and is really depressed. So we know those things about George Michael by this simple reference. So let's watch some clips from an episode of Bob's Burgers that makes references to Jaws, and then I'll show you the references that are made in the episode.
Crap.
Oh my god! The shark's busted onto Ocean Avenue!
This is my fault. I have to do something. Teddy, what are you doing?
Oh, we're gonna need a bigger restaurant!
Oh, come on.
Sorry.
Run! Teddy, you're being crushed!
So those are a bunch of clips from the show. Then if we go to our next slide, here's all of the clips that are being referenced when the shark is flopping down the street and everybody's running. We have this first GIF. Then we have the close zoom in suspenseful shot that this movie is really famous for. They also did that. The nails on the chalkboard. We have the shark burst through the floor of the restaurant, just like it jumps on the boat, and it tries to swallow Teddy, just like it actually does swallow and kill Quint in the movie. So there's multiple allusions. These are used for multiple reasons, mostly to make a joke, because the whole episode is a bit of a parody, but it can also be a bit of indirect characterization as well.
While reading or watching The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, we were introduced to Cinna, the stylist for Katniss. If the mention of this name doesn't ring a bell, that's probably because you've never read Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, which in turn has caused you to miss out on a major allusion. When I say allusion, no, I'm not talking about Katniss's dress made of gems that reflected light, projecting the illusion of fire. That's illusion, with an I, like a magic trick. An allusion, beginning with an A, is a literary element. It is a brief and indirect reference to a person, place, thing, or idea of historical, cultural, literary, or political significance. It does not describe in detail the person or thing to which it refers. It is just a passing comment, and the writer expects the reader to have enough knowledge to spot the allusion and understand its importance in a text. The writer expects you to be like Sherlock Holmes, investigating and analyzing these references. Hey, did you catch the allusion I just used? So let's go back to Cinna, the stylist, in the Hunger Games. In Julius Caesar, there are two characters by the name of Cinna. One is a poet who ends up being murdered, and the other is one of the politicians who is involved in the plot to assassinate Caesar. What connections can you make between these two characters and Cinna from the Hunger Games? For one, Cinna isn't simply a stylist, but also an artist with his ability to make political statements through Katniss's outfits. Some might say that his costumes are quite poetic in a way, just like Caesar's Cinna the poet. And two, just like Cinna the conspirator in Julius Caesar, this name indicates Cinna is a character who is plotting against President Snow's oppressive ruling over Panem.
So, what's the significance of this allusion? Well, it helps indirectly characterize Cinna, and it develops a major theme of the novel. You must always stand up to injustice and corruption. I hope this helped clarify the purpose of allusions. Good luck with your assignment today, guys.